Councilman Davis sit down. We'll call to order the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, January the 16th, 2025. We'll have our invocation by our own Director of Parks and Recreations Department, Mr. Chris Bass. After that, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mayor Pro Tem City Council Member Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of council. Let us pray. Lord, we come to you as humbly as we know how first to say thank you. As we gather here tonight, we take a moment to reflect on the privilege of serving our community. May we approach this meeting with wisdom, fairness, and compassion, keeping in mind the diverse voices and needs of those we represent. In gratitude and the opportunity to lead, we ask for your guidance and strength. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem, and thank you, Director Bass. We appreciate that invocation. That was beautiful. I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. This is a work session, our legislative work session, so business we discussed this evening. We will not take action until next Tuesday. Typically, we meet on Mondays, but it'll be Tuesday because we have MLK Day. It's a holiday. So we'll come next Tuesday to take action on the information that will be discussed this evening. If the business you're here for is not listed as agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few protocol issues. We're probably all familiar. It looks like we don't have any visitors this evening, but if someone comes in and would like to speak to us, I ask that you please keep your comments and presentation on a professional level and not have personal attacks on any individual or group of individuals. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud, react to speakers, or speak from the audience, cheer, or carry on a conversation when you're at the podium. We ask that you would please direct all of your information, questions, concerns, and comments to myself or council members, the committee chairperson. I remind you that we're only required to take public comments during the public hearings. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, I ask that you would please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. This is how the agenda items will be handled. The committee chairperson will read their agenda item, then that person or representative for that agenda item will come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and present your information. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments if it's a public hearing from the audience. There are 20 minutes for those slated to have 20 minutes for those in favor and 20 minutes for those in opposition of the item, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. There are cards outside, they're blue cards, and you should fill those cards out if you like to speak. It will present your name and address for the record. Come to the podium, ask your questions after giving your name and address. And if you have printed materials, please give it to our Assistant City Clerk, Ms. Candace. She will make copies and pass those copies out to myself and council members. Those are all the instructions, and now we will move on with the agenda as presented. There are copies outside if you like to have a paper agenda, but if not, there is an agenda above my head on the screen. So now we'll move on from the announcements and we'll move to committees. Our first committee is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There is no business at this time under the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on then to Finance Committee chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in finance.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. Housing and Community Affairs Committee chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business for the Housing and Community Affairs Committee tonight.
Thank you so much, Councilman Estes. We do have business under Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, which is unusual, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem, City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You are correct. We do have several items under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee.
Yes,
This
sir.
time.
Uh-huh.
I will go ahead and read all three of these items together because they are related to each other. The first is to adopt a resolution setting Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 as the date for the municipal general election in the city of Douglasville, and directing city clerk to publish a public notice detailing the offices to be elected and polling locations. Second item is adopt a resolution setting the qualifying dates for all candidates for municipal office in the city of Douglasville's general election on November 4th, 2025 as Monday, August 18th, 2025 through Wednesday, August 20th, 2025.
Okay.
With qualifying hours each day from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and providing for public notice. And then the final item is to adopt a resolution setting the qualifying fee at $387 for council member candidates in the November 4th, 2025 general election in the city of Douglasville as required by state law and provide notice of such fee.
Okay.
All three of these items will be elaborated on by our illustrious Miss Candace James.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Good evening.
City Council. So the 2025 municipal general election will be scheduled for Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. The polls will open at 7 a.m. and will be closing at 7 p.m. In your attachments, you will find a listing of all of the polling locations. The second item, the candidate qualifying will take place from Monday, August 18th, 2025 to Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and then from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., where the city clerks will be taking a break from 12 noon to 1 p.m. So the city clerk will be advertising that, and then she will do a courtesy advertising, a second advertising of that qualifying in early August to remind the community. For the qualifying fees, they will be set at 3% of the total gross salary for the respective offices. In the upcoming election, for all seats of council member, the fee will be $387. And the open seats, or seats up for election, will be Ward 1, Ward 2, Post 1, Ward 3, Post 1, and Ward 3, Post 2. So the fee will be published no later than February 1st to comply with the Georgia election codes. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Ms. James. Any questions from any of the council members or comments? Is there any conceivable reason why this should not be put on the consent agenda? Okay. All right. Well, Madam Mayor, there seems to be consensus to put all three of these items on the consensus agenda for Tuesday, I guess it would be. That is all we have under the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on, and thank you, our Assistant City Clerk, Ms. Candace James. So we'll move on to item number 9, which is Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. The Personnel and Organization Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Planning and Development Committee, chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening for Planning and Development.
Thank you, ma'am. You also have Public Improvement and Beautification Committee.
And Madam Mayor, we have no business for Public Improvement and Beautification either.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Sam Davis. You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Davis. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 2 items this evening.
Yes, sir.
Item A is to authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support for Chattahoochee River Lands Project, and Mr. Bass will be handling this.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members
Good
of
evening.
council. Chris Bass, 8830 Gurley Road. Come before you seeking approval for a letter of support for the Chattahoochee River Lands Project. You all remember we've provided this letter of support the past 2 years as they seek grant funds for that corridor that starts around North Beaufort all the way down to Chattahoochee Hills. So this will be a letter of support joining the other cities and counties along the Chattahoochee River for that particular project. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Bass, any questions or comments on this item? All right. I'd like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday, if that please the council. Item B, authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support for the North Side Trail Project, rebuilding American infrastructure with sustainability and equity. And then this is a grant application, and Ms. Mann will handle this.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Alicia
evening.
Mann, 6695 Church Street. Today, we're requesting approval for a letter of support to accompany our grant application for design funding for the North Side Trail. If you recall, back in 2020, the North Side Trail Plan was done by Croy Engineering, and we are seeking to apply for the RAISE grant to help us with design funds for this trail. The trail will improve connectivity, promoting sustainability, transportation, and enhancing the quality of life for our residents. And if you all have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Thank you, Ms. Mann. Any questions or comments from, okay, we'll start with Mayor, and then we'll move down there to Councilman Estes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Ms. Mann. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So you were saying that the funding was for, now here it has lighting, signage, design. So specifically, all those things are available, but we're really zoning in on design?
Yes,
or-
ma'am, to
okay.
design the trail.
And it'll be 8.58 miles is the trail? Or are we just looking for the 2.24 miles?
We're looking for the 2.24 miles with the Dallas Highway project going on with GDOT. They're taking some of that part and implementing a multi-use trail that'll take that part of the trail.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.
Question? I have a question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll finish going that way.
That's fine.
Councilman Estes, go ahead.
I actually have a comment on the previous item, so continue with anybody for this one, and then come
Okay,
back to me.
any
Thank you.
further comments on this side?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you.
Dr. Verdani.
So do you have something we can see with the trails, like a map of the trail?
Yes, ma'am, we do. I can bring that to the next council
You
meeting.
can actually just email it.
Okay, that works.
Thank you.
I'd like
Or
to see
by
it too.
Tuesday, by
Actually, yeah.
Tuesday, if you can.
We'd
I
like
just
to
wanted
see
to see like the outline of where it would be and stuff.
That was exactly the same question I was
Okay.
going to ask, was
All
if
right.
you could, for Tuesday, attach a map to the supplement on this.
Will do.
Right.
Okay, coming back this way, Ms. Hudson.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Mann, for your presentation. Is this a matched grant?
No, there will not be a match for this one. This is for the planning design.
Okay, and this will take care of that in entirety?
Yes.
Okay.
We received some proposals that gave us a ballpark of what we should be looking for, so that's what we're applying for, that number,
Cool.
628,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions? With the request for the attachment, does that mean we can, or can we still put this, I mean, the attachment will still be in there. Do we want to place this on the consent agenda or not? I mean, the attachment will be there. I guess we would be able to ask any questions.
I would say no, but it's up to.
Okay. All right. We'll just bring this back on Tuesday then. All right. If there are no further questions, Madam Mayor, that's all we had tonight in record.
We'll go back to Councilmember
Oh,
Estes. He had a-
Councilman Estes, the previous items.
Yeah, going back to the previous item, I see this letter is dated January 21st, addressed to Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who will no longer be the
there.
Secretary of Transportation by that date.
Right.
So that needs to be amended.
Yes, sir, we'll get that updated. That was the information they provided to whom address it to, but we'll get that updated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. If there are no other questions or comments, that's all we had tonight under Recreation, Culture, and Tourism, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Watts, for that committee, and thank you. That was a good catch, Councilman Estes. We'll move on then to item number 15, which is Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Technology Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Transportation, our last committee, Dr. LaShawn Bird Danley.
No, Madam Mayor, we have no business tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Do we have any other business to come before council this evening? Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Actually, I was just going to put off to somebody else. There was some discussion offline about the new signage going on across from Freedom Island. Did anybody want to have, express some concerns? I know somebody had received some citizen feedback on that.
Yes,
Go ahead.
thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I did, but I know I've also had conversation today with our city manager, as well as our assistant city manager, and our deputy city manager. And each of you, I've kind of had some conversations with as well. I know the sign, I was in a class this morning, and a constituent, of course, texted me this picture, and it looked very large the way it was being put into the ground. But after riding by it myself, I know that like once it goes all the way in the ground and we have vegetation, it's going to look a lot different over there. So I think that we just need to trust the process. We've been waiting on this a long time, and I think that's the best thing that we can do at this time. But thank you.
Wanted to make sure you had a chance to speak your mind.
Thank you, Mr.
And it does look pretty nice. I mean, it's a good-looking sign, so.
It is, yes, Ms. Mayor Pro Tem. And I wrote by as well, some of the concerns. City manager asked me to look at, to make certain that I felt comfortable before we had the conversation, and if not, to raise those issues. But riding by, I thought it just is different because we're not used to that size based on what was there before. But sometimes, when it's something new, it does look different. But I trust, it looks really made well, but I trust the company that put it in would look at the size and the dimensions and all of that, where they're placing it based on they're a reputable company, that they would do a good job. And if they felt like it wasn't the right dimensions, I don't think they would install it because it's a reflection on their company.
It wouldn't got past the shop drawings.
Yeah, so it looks
Also-
good, but I think the citizens are just used to how it used to look. But even for concerts, or if we have something else to announce, you're going to really be able to see it. You won't have to ride by slowly and squint to read it. You're going to be able to read it really well, so. But thank you. We always want to address issues. Nothing is too small.
Absolutely. And I'll add to that also, because the initial photo that was sent to me was when the project was first being started. And so it was raised up off the ground by, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 feet. So it looked even bigger than it actually is, because once those
Okay.
posts were set into the ground, it looked a lot.
a little bit.
Yeah, it settled it out quite a bit.
Oh,
But
that's good.
Thank you.
So I hope that our citizens will get used to it and fall in love with everything like they do. They're great citizens, so it'll be fine. Any other comments? Thank you for raising that question, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Any other business from council members? I know we're not meeting on Monday. It's a federal holiday, and so we'll be here on Tuesday, Lord willing. I did see or read a report about maybe some snow next week. Not certain if that's coming. City Manager, is Mr. Gregg still going to be here? He'll be here until the 26th, right, or 24th, or?
He will not be in the office, but Ms. Burdette in the back will be handling things. I think the weather's changed somewhat slightly, so we will be here more than likely on Tuesday.
Okay, all right. And then we start, our Cities United starts next week as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have that, I think it's on the 24th, I'm not sure.
24th it starts, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we have Cities United coming up, so if the council members would be cognizant of that. And then we'll just be ready, Lord willing, whatever comes our way. All right, if we don't have any other business, we'll move on then to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dotson. Our staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome, good to see you. That's not the chief, but that's the police over there representing. You have,
Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Russell on behalf of Chief Sparks, no business from the police department.
thank you so much, and thank you for what you do for our city. You're welcome. Our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Yes, Lieutenant Rossell is being shy. He's the official police officer advocate, so anytime you need to know any and everything and who advocates on behalf of our law enforcement employees,
wow.
he is the one. So,
Okay, very
He
good.
does an excellent job at that, so I
Very
enjoy
good.
every time I go there speaking with them because of him.
Oh, wow, now
but-
we have a name with the face.
Absolutely, absolutely. But no, ma'am, I don't have anything.
Wow, okay, very good. So now it's a portion from comments from citizens and delegates. If anyone can sneak in or stay in the meeting, you'd like to speak, please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business germane to the city. I don't see any takers, as Councilman Davis can say. If we don't have any other business, then this meeting is adjourned.